What's going on, people? Myke C-Town here. So I just want to give you guys a quick wrap up of my time at the Moodhouse Fest. This was the fest that I hosted in Minneapolis this past weekend. It was an independent music fest put on and organized by Chris and Sean of Moody Black, as well as help from Chris's partner, Jamie. I've known Chris for a few years now, and when she invited me to host this thing a few months back, I immediately, without hesitation, said yes. So from my understanding, the main purpose of this fest was to put eyes on independent artists who may not be getting the attention that they deserve, whether that be from the music industry at large or from music fans in general. A big part of this was giving a spotlight to marginalized groups, meaning groups containing marginalized people who may have a harder time getting their voice heard or their message across. The fest popped off Saturday, and I didn't have to host until later on in the evening, which was cool because I got to just kind of hang out and watch some of the earlier groups. I missed a few of the ones that were playing in the other room, and I didn't check out any of the DJ sets. So my day really started off with Night of the Living Shred, who were a lot of fun and ended up being super great guys. There was also Lizea Harper, who was a singer with a great voice. Static Bros were a great noise rap group that I'd heard a bit of before, but I'd never really dove into them. And I'm gonna butcher this band's name, but I think it's La Curandera and The Ritual. They were this super weird kind of experimental ambient droney chamber music, but they were amazing. New Primals were an incredible kind of noise rock band that actually had one of the best performances of the whole fest. The first act that I got to intro was Mannequin Eater, who also goes by Carl Kevorkian, a guy that I've been talking to for many years, but I'd never got to meet him or see him play. And god damn, he ended up being an extremely nice guy, and he had another of my favorite performances of the fest. Murph was a punk band with a lot of energy and some pretty unique riffs. I really enjoyed them. Difference Machine played, who I've talked about before. They're from here, and they're one of my favorite Atlanta groups, and they were dope. E-Turn, who I got put onto about a year or so ago, was also super dope. Esid performed, who was another person I've talked to for a lot of years and I never got to see or meet. He put on a great show.
Smells like a dog with no manners, don't matter. Still gotta rest my soul, this town's hell. You guys alive? Sorta.
Chesky played, and you already know what you're gonna get with a fucking Chesky show. You know, a lot of intense, raw emotion, and it seemed like everyone there loved it. Then one of the acts that I was really looking forward to played, and that is Dialect, who is so fucking good live, but really goddamn loud. So loud that at one point I actually had to go outside the room and watch them and listen to them through the glass, because inside the room, even with my earplugs in, it was too much for me, but they were fucking incredible. And I actually met MC Dialect, and goddamn, he was one of the nicest dudes. It's always dope when you meet someone that you've listened to for many years and they actually end up being cool. Then Moody Black closed the night out with an incredibly passionate set. No better way to end the night. But for me, this fest was a lot of fun. It was great seeing all these incredible acts all come together for a common idea. You know, everyone I met was incredibly kind. This is from the bands to the attendees. It was cool being around such a diverse but inclusive crowd. I even got to meet a few people who I'd been talking to online forever. I got to meet Autumn from This Machine Kills Music and her partner, Nick. They were both unbelievably nice, so that was just great. And Autumn brought me a fucking gift. But check out my next vinyl video if you want to see what that is. But one thing about this fest that made me really happy is it gave me that feeling that I used to have when I would go to punk and hardcore fests in the 90s. You know, the whole purpose of these fests was to get the names of smaller bands out. And they were so much fun because it wasn't about sponsors. You know, it wasn't about money. It wasn't about pretentiousness. You know, it was just about music and community. And you know, that feeling is gone from a lot of music fests now. You know, no one is really pushing that idea of formulating and you know, getting all these people to converge in this one area and really endorsing a community. And that's how the Moodhouse Fest felt. It felt like Chris's goal was to reinforce the idea of a music community. This whole idea of waiting for other people to help you build your community is fucking stupid. Chris set out to say fuck that in a really DIY way, and even though she took a financial hit from it, from an outsider perspective, as someone who had a very minuscule part in the whole thing, I felt like it was a great success. Lots of people made new friends. Smaller bands played with acts that they would otherwise never get to play with due to things like politics and money and whatever else. And I think the whole idea of fostering a supportive music community was definitely enforced. Was the fest perfect? Of course not. But was it inspiring? To me, abso-fucking-lutely. I'm really happy to hear that next year's event is already being planned, and I hope to be a part of it again and again and as many times as they'll have me, because making a place for weirdos is something that I am 100% behind, being a weirdo myself. So I'll support this event and events like it as much and as often as I can, and I hope this event inspires other people to do similar events wherever they may live, if there isn't already events like this happening there. My only regret is not exploring Minneapolis more when I was in town. The day after the fest, I just kind of sat around Chris's house with Chris, his partner Jamie, Sean, and Chesky, kind of talking a whole bunch of shit. I didn't really have a whole lot of time to do much of anything, but we did film a food review for the Herbivorous Butcher, a vegan butcher shop that was at the top of my list for things to check out in the city. And that place was just amazing. They provided a vegan meat and cheese tray for the fest that was seriously unfucking believable. And I visited the place and came back with a shitload of food. But yeah, the link for the review is down there below in the description section. But yeah, that's really about it. I had a great time, and I can't wait for the next one. But yeah, if you missed it, pay attention, keep an eye out, because there will be one again, I hope. And if it happens again, make sure you're there, because shit's tight. That's it, as usual. Thank you for living, thank you for loving, thank you for being you, and I'll see you guys next time. All right? Peace out, boy.